Williamsburg at night. Well, this is nice. We've got a little painting that someone's put out on the street here. You can probably take it home if you wanted to. It's great. Heidegger, peace, love, and Viticus, God. We've got some graffiti over here. It says, "Armies of peace are coming." And they mean business. There's always something fun happening here in Williamsburg. Well, this is James Kalm, the guy on the bike. And we're back here in the heart of Williamsburg at 177 North 9th Street. We're going to run in here at Pierogi. Let's see a show by Tony Fitzpatrick.
Actually,
Well, Tony Fitzpatrick is known as one of the more influential and well-known artists from Chicago. And I think one of the things that endears him to the local Williamsburg crowd is his kind of obsessive eccentricities. It's titled "Assassination of Crazy Horse." I was thinking, even though these works are fairly small, he's got a great color sense. This piece is titled "The Horse Star." Let's look at some of the little details. Hotel Texas, Wood Texas, Nectar, Nug. Like I was saying, although these are probably about maybe 8 by 10, 12 by 10 inches, it really packs a lot of stuff in there. Got a little poem. It is a story that ends with barns burning and horses screaming, just trying to stay in the world. This is the blue-eyed story. Well, he's doing pretty good. He's got a lot of people turning out here, and it's probably about 20 degrees and blowing like heck out in the streets. Oh, actually, it's amazing. I was just watching some people who are looking at these collages. They can spend 5 minutes trying to read them all and delve into some of the detail. He slept on Monterey Beach and dreamt of devilfish glowing in the black water, schools of sardines. He dreamt about gin and pussy and water pouring from the stars. It's called Jersey Owl. And I believe that he paints and draws these central figures. And he does a great job of sort of rendering them in a kind of Heartland's cornbread pop. Then he adds on his collage elements. Your skulls. The ghost of mice dance in strange autumn fires. And if I'm not mistaken, this is the artist. Are you Tony?
James, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Nice to see you.
I'm a big fan of the guy on the bike, man.
Well, that's nice to hear. I'm a big fan of the man with the collages here. What can you tell us about the show?
These are about Crazy Horse, who was probably the most iconic Native American leader, the Lakota Oglala. And he was, I'm kind of the opinion that when he was assassinated, the theft of the American continent was complete. So these are offerings and drawings for Crazy Horse.
Where do you get most of your pieces for your collages?
These I got most of these out in the Badlands.
Out in the Badlands.
In 11 different states: Nebraska, South Dakota, Montana, Wyoming.
Did you make it to Idaho?
Made it to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, just to the border.
That's a nice place.
Yeah.
Okay.
But pretty much these were scraps from around where Crazy Horse lived.
And when you say scraps, where do you get them from? Matchbook covers?
Matchbooks, wrappers, cigar boxes, stamps, the stuff that normal people throw out. I'm one of those drool cases you see walking down the street picking up.
I could tell.
Interesting pieces of paper.
I do that a little bit myself. Tell us what's happening in Chicago. I know that you're one of the probably most well recognized at the what is known as the Chicago School.
Well, no, probably not. That's probably more like Jim Nutt or Carl Wilson.
That's true, but those guys are all sort of
those
passing on.
Those guys are still making absolutely marvelous and vital work. And
do you feel like the little brother to those guys? What's going on?
I have immense respect for them, and I'm more. I was more influenced by writers actually, guys like Studs Terkel,
really,
Nelson Algren, and Mike Royko, and James Farrell, and Ben Hecht, and that great tradition of Chicago writers.
It's pretty scruffy stuff.
I absolutely, admire, Jim Nutt and Ed Paschke was my dear friend, and Carl Wortham. Those guys kind of broke down the door for the rest of us.
Do you see any chance of the Chicago School maybe round 2 coming back and pushing the LA and the New York artists out of the spotlight a little bit?
No, I think as long as most of the art criticism is written in New York and LA, it's probably we kind of be destined to be out there caught in the middle, But I think that both of those camps, fit very well with what happens in Chicago.
You know what? The other interesting thing is that. I'm a big fan of art history, but a lot of the younger art that I see being done in places like Williamsburg and Bushwick looks like it owes an awful lot to some of the Chicago Harry Who and the Chicago Images, a lot more than to the New York school. So maybe there's some of that Chicago stuff's creeping in, even though they don't want it.
Particularly the stuff that's very informed by comics.
Yes.
I think Chris Ware and Daniel Clowes and the late Henry Darger
absolutely
have a great deal of sway over the figurative art that happens now.
Absolutely.
I think we also all learn from the comics, and one of the great influences in Chicago that nobody ever really mentions, believe it or not, Chester Gould, the guy who drew Dick Tracy.
Oh, I love Chester.
That was my guy. When I was a little kid, my father drove me by his house one day. My dad sold burial vaults, and we were up in Barrington, and he said, "That's where Chester Gould lives." And I was a fanatic for Dick Tracy. I was always drawing the Mole and Flat Top and Mumbles.
Sure,
and
I love
guys.
Flat Top.
So my father pulls into his driveway, and he goes, "Go knock on the door." So I went up. I'm a little 8-year-old kid. I knocked on the door, and this elderly man with wire glasses and white hair answered, and I said, "Mr. Gould, my name's Tony Fitzpatrick, and I'm a crime stopper." And he invited me in and made me a little Dick Tracy drawing, and
wow.
could
Still
not have been more lovely. No, I don't, and to my everlasting regret. And but I think a lot of the Chicago figurative artists as kids owe a lot to the Dick Tracy bad guys. Flat Top, Mumbles, the Mole, Itchy.
Well, hell, Warhol started out there, Lichtenstein started out there. Anyway, Tony, I'm going to let you get back to your adoring crowds.
Much.
I'm going to finish taking a look at the show.
Thank you so much, James.
Hey, thank you. All right.
Good to see you.
Tony Fitzpatrick. He's nice. This is a quick run through of Tony Fitzpatrick here at Pierogi on North 9th in the heart of Williamsburg. Thanks, Kate.